This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Just a good-looking man, and any barmaid can be a star maid. Yes, he dances with all the time.
Because you're there when I awake, and then you give me the lights of day. Because the children with you can play. I think.
Welcome back to Movie Review of the Day here on Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. I'm Miranda, and I will be your host for today. Now listen, today's movie was a request from my son, and we're going to talk Nacho Libre. But I have to come right up front with something. Last week, we had Wrestling Week, as most of you know. And I tried to pick this movie, and the boys would not let me do it. I think I audibly actually heard them groan at me from miles away when I suggested in our chat, hey, I'll do Nacho Libre. It was dead silent. You know what? That honestly made me hold a grudge a little bit about that. But you also know what? Look at me now, because I found a way. And we're going to go on with Nacho Libre. So, released in 2006 and starring Jack Black, Nacho Libre is one of those movies that is either completely your sense of humor or it's absolutely not. To me, there is no middle ground here. If you are a middle ground person, let me know, because I've never met one. Our movie follows Ignacio, or Nacho, a monastery cook who secretly becomes a luchador to earn money for the orphanage he helps care for. Which sounds pretty straightforward in an underdog story, right? But this is not your typical sports movie. It's not even your typical underdog story, and it is a very specific kind of comedy. Nacho immediately not good at wrestling. His naturally athletic ability is, well, not there. Which, I feel you, bro. It's okay. And the sad thing is, he's not even particularly confident with it. But what he does have is grit and commitment. And a very strong belief that he is meant for something more. And from the very beginning, you can tell exactly what kind of humor this movie is working with. It's awkward. It's weird, and it leans heavily into silence and timing. And then it hits you with lines like, I am Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. Which is not even from this movie, but the fact that it shows up here tells you everything about it. One of the best parts of Nacho Libre is the dynamic between Nacho and his buddy, because he becomes the most supportive friend there is. He's barely a helpful partner, though, but somehow their energy together just works. And then you have our dear sweet sister, who is very clearly meant to represent the moral conflict in Nacho's life. Because technically, what he's doing is not exactly approved monastery behavior. The wrestling themes themselves are intentionally ridiculous. They're not trying to make anything look realistic. They're very chaotic and over the top and full of moments where you just kind of have to sit there going, what is happening? And then, of course, Nacho hits you with something like, get that corn out of my face. And suddenly you're laughing again. Jack Black's performance is really what carries this movie. He plays Nacho with so much sincerity. He's not making fun of the character. He's fully believing in him. And that's what makes the humor work. There's also something kind of charming about how simple this story is. At its core, it's about wanting to be more than what people expect you to be. Wanting to help others, even if your methods are questionable. And trying to find your place in the world, even if that place involves stretchy pants and less than stellar wrestling skills. Now, I admit this movie is not for everyone. The humor, as I mentioned, is very specific. It is even slower paced at times and leads into very awkward moments. And it does not follow the traditional comic structure of things. But if it clicks for you, then it really clicks. Because this movie is one of those movies where the jokes stick with you. You start quoting it without realizing it. And you randomly think about lines like, these are my recreation clothes. And it just lives in your brain forever. Overall, Nacho Libre is weird, it's quotable, and very chaotic. Some would say a little, I say very. But it's one of those movies that feels very comfortable being exactly what it is and not pretending to be something that it isn't. It's not trying to be big, polished comedy. It's doing its own thing, and honestly, that is why it works. So that's today's movie review of the day on Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. And until next time, sometimes you just have to follow your destiny, especially when it involves stretchy pants.